Hiya babies, Auntie Lexi here. What if I told you that the classic Puyo Puyo franchise has its roots in RPGs? Before it became the iconic puzzle game we all know, Puyo Puyo was born from a quirky first-person dungeon crawler called Mado Monogatari. And now, for the first time in decades, we're getting a brand new entry in that original RPG lineage, Mado Monogatari, Fia, and a Wondrous Academy. This isn't a remake, a remaster, or a port. It's a brand new game continuing a legacy that almost never made it to Western shores. Despite spawning Puyo Puyo, Mado Monogatari never gained the same recognition, with only one game ever localized out of 12 before this one. Now that it finally has the spotlight again, can Fia and a Wondrous Academy show us why this series is worth discovering? Before we dive in, if you're someone who loves discovering offbeat RPGs and sharing thoughtful reflections along the way, hit that subscribe button so we can keep exploring these hidden gems together. Fia and a Wondrous Academy blends dungeon crawling with a magical school twist, and it honestly works really well. Classes serve as tutorials and progression points, teaching you new systems while unlocking skills in your grimoire. You earn LP by attending these classes and completing assignments, which feed into a skill tree. Once you collect enough credits and unlock major nodes, you can take promotion exams to unlock portions of each dungeon, as well as new progression tracks. Fia may be the granddaughter of a mysterious mage, but she's not limited to just that role. You can switch between a knight, mage, thief, and hunter, each offering a different flavor of play. Some lean into weapon combat, others prioritize magic, and a few blend both. While you start with just 2 skill slots, you can expand that over time, along with your great magic slots. Great magic is great for a reason. These are big, flashy spells that deal a lot of damage. Combat is real-time, with a twist. A timeline system acts as a universal cooldown for skills. But between those windows, you can move around freely, land regular attacks, and even sidestep enemy attacks, though there isn't a dedicated dodge button. Using regular attacks too often will slow your progression on the timeline, so there's a natural rhythm that favors smart positioning and restraint. It's a clever system that feels active without being chaotic. Dungeon exploration is where you'll spend most of your time, and it follows a familiar loop. You'll explore randomized, lightly varied layouts where enemies are visible on the map, and landing the first hit gives Fia an immediate edge by letting her open the fight with a skill, a small but satisfying incentive to stay alert and proactive during exploration. You can't just save anywhere, but the game autosaves and allows saving when transferring floors, which helps maintain a low-stress vibe. The VT gauge, essentially your stamina meter, adds a bit of light strategy. It drains whenever you attack enemies, destroy objects like crates or tufts of grass, or move to a new floor. You'll need to replenish it by eating curry or collecting VT orbs hidden throughout the dungeon. It's not the kind of mechanic that overwhelms, but it does keep you thinking just enough. You will revisit dungeons often, and while the repetition can be noticeable, it also creates a kind of cozy rhythm once you find your flow. While there's a lot to like, Fia and a Wondrous Academy does stumble in a few areas. Dungeon layouts are randomized, but they can start to feel repetitive after multiple visits to the same locations. That said, the repetition isn't without charm. There's a comforting rhythm to the loop once you're used to it. The VT gauge adds light strategy by limiting how often you can attack or explore, but not everyone will love managing stamina in an otherwise breezy RPG. Fortunately, it's not overly punishing, and for players who enjoy light resource management, it adds a bit of thoughtful pacing. Combat is energetic, but the lack of a dedicated dodge button might leave some action RPG fans wishing for more precision. Even so, the system encourages smart positioning and restraint, making the most of what it offers. While the story is cute and charming, its pacing can be sluggish, especially at the start of new chapters, where dialogue-heavy scenes tend to go on longer than expected. These major story moments are fully voice-acted in Japanese, and while the performances are well emoted, the language barrier may make it harder for some players to stay engaged. Without the benefit of understanding tone and nuance directly, the extended runtime of these scenes might tempt some to skip ahead, which is a shame because there's a surprising amount of charm and comedy in the writing once you're invested. Presentation-wise, the 3D models don't animate their mouths, but they still gesture expressively. And when paired with the animated portraits, it creates a fuller sense of emotion and personality than you might expect. It's not high budget, but it is heartfelt. Visually, Fia and the Wondrous Academy makes a strong first impression. While the 3D models are limited, especially in facial animation, the game smartly leans on a pair of expressive 2D portrait styles to carry its emotional weight. The large portraits animate their mouths and feature lively motion, while the smaller portraits serve as polished higher-resolution alternatives to the simpler 3D models. Though they don't move as much, these smaller portraits still convey personality and nuance in ways the 3D counterparts simply can't, not so dissimilar from how portraits are used in the Persona series to enhance emotional delivery without having to animate its 3D models' facial expressions. It's a surprisingly effective and charming workaround that fits the overall tone of the game. The Japanese voice acting is consistently excellent, adding warmth and personality to every character. When you pair this with the game's expressive portrait work, even routine dialogue feels lively and full of charm. That sense of energy carries into the soundtrack as well. The music is bouncy, pop-inspired, and often leans into the comedic, giving each scene just the right mood. It's catchy, well-timed, and effortlessly reinforces the game's playful, upbeat tone. That upbeat tone isn't just in the aesthetics, it defines the whole experience. From the onset, Fia and the Wondrous Academy embraces a light-hearted feel-good rhythm. There are no timers or harsh penalties, just a magical school full of quirky characters, silly detours, and warm-hearted charm. The story is refreshingly simple, with a vague legend about a great mage looming in the background, but the focus stays on student life and magical misadventures. It's not about shocking twists or sweeping drama. It's about spending time in a world that feels cheerful and vibrant. Fia is bright, sincere, and easy to root for, an earnest heroine whose optimism angers the game's inviting tone. Will's a lovable dungeon-crawling meathead, and Lena is a withdrawn shut-in, gradually learning to open up. They, and the rest of the cast, are brought to life by genuinely expressive performances and fun character banter. Professor Rivian is a particular standout. Her over-the-top Dungeon Master narration early on perfectly encapsulates the game's spirit, whimsical without being saccharine, and silly without being shallow. It's that sincerity, threaded through every interaction, that makes the whole experience feel so unexpectedly endearing. Fia and the Wondrous Academy isn't trying to be a groundbreaking RPG. It's trying to be a fun one. And in that, it absolutely succeeds. The systems are well integrated, the school theme is used cleverly, and the whole thing exudes charm from start to finish. There's no single element that steals the show, but every part of it comes together into a whimsical, well-crafted little adventure. If you've ever wondered what the origin of Puyo Puyo looked like, or you just want a breezy dungeon crawling experience with a magical twist, this is a school well worth enrolling in. What do you think of Fia and the Wondrous Academy? Did it surprise you, charm you, or maybe even win you over? Post your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, join our Discord at dsc.gg/backlogbattle. And if you'd like to support what we do and help keep videos like this going, you can also support me on Patreon at patreon.com/backlogbattle. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.